be gelling my bones. But her voice would echo before my own. You know, be gelling my bones. You know, be gelling my bones. You know, be gelling my
I remember when I used to come back here, the shit was empty, deserted. Like, this is where people came to fucking do drugs or have sex in cars.
Hey folks, this is Carlos Phoenix with the Lounge Network, and we have a special episode of the Indie Lounge. We're out in New York City, in Brooklyn, on Christmas Day. I got a special guest. You may have seen him before, Steve,
AKA The Roar, and right now I guess I'm being interviewed as Champion Rocka. We were talking about this earlier, yeah, how I would be interviewed. I guess like a bunch of artists, I have different monikers and different things I go by, and the stuff we were talking about just before has been more the Champion Rocka stuff that I've been focusing on. So
that's great. We can start with that. So the idea here is we're doing a little catch-up show. We haven't spoken to Steve in a while.
2 years, right?
It's been a number of years. So I just wanted to kind of catch up with him and see what he was doing and see what kind of work he's been doing. And then, a lot of changes in society and in the music industry and stuff have been happening. So we wanted to get into what he feels about it and also just review that whole background of what's been going on in his life. So what's been going on with you?
Well, last time we talked, I think I was living in Florida, and you kind of caught me right at the inception of the Roar, the Roar project, which I was getting off the ground, and that kind of that happened, and it was an amazing experience. I got to work with a lot of great producers who remixed some of my tracks and performed out live a few times with a kind of a hybrid rock, live rock kind of electronic thing. But I kind of became disillusioned with entering the live rock arena again after being out of it for some time, because I don't need to, I guess, go over stuff that many other people have more eloquently stated about the state of rock, as far as it kind of dying out and being relegated to little pockets here and there, and for me to kind of just start from scratch and start over with a rock type project would have been a big undertaking for very minimal, I guess, rewards, so to speak. So I decided to kind of keep going more the electronic dance music, eventually DJ route, which is kind of what I've been doing for the past year as Champion Rocka, where I've been producing and remixing and DJing out at parties all over the country, and that's kind of took off like wildfire, and it's been going really good. But I kind of find myself at a place where I've already got my foot in the door as far as electronic dance music, where a handful of good blogs support me and put my music out. I played a lot of great parties and are set to play a bunch more. But now I want to try to see if I can introduce or inject some more of that rock and that punk and that socially kind of conscious ethos into electronic dance music, which is something I don't think is I think is something that's missing. We were talking about before, a lot of the dance music tends to center, at least lyrically, around partying, shaking your ass, getting drunk, getting wasted, which I gotta believe there could be more done within the genre than that. So that's something I'm right at the. Once again, you're catching me at an inception phase where I'm looking to try to explore that.
So we did get into some conversations where we talked about for lack of better words, music is kind of hollow. It's kind of empty. Yeah, there's great sounds and stuff like that, but in terms of the old days where there were messages inside of the music that represented the culture and the time, we got into a conversation where, you know, there's parts of the music industry, just the artists themselves are getting into little tangents about what, let's say, their version of music represents, yet it's still empty, hollow music. So, so I want to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, the conversation actually, we were discussing about the Azealia Banks interview on, I think, Hot 97, where she was talking about the appropriation of hip-hop and of, I guess, what she considers black music by non-African Americans. And, you know, what I guess what I was saying is that, you know, here's someone that when she first came out, I was super enamored with her. You know, I had extremely high hopes for her. I thought she was very innovative. I thought she was dope. She was like a breath of fresh air. And then she just kind of like got sucked into this black hole of Twitter beefs and sound bites and getting attention sort of for the wrong reasons. And fast forward to all of a sudden now she kind of reemerges, having been dropped from her label and kind of once again instigating some kind of Twitter beef. So I feel it's almost like the boy who cried wolf. You know what I mean? Like I think.
No, she said in her interview that she left the label out of creative differences. But you feel it might be just because of all the noise she was making?
No, not even that. I mean, from the interview, she said that they spent like $2 million on that album with nothing that they deemed as radio worthy. I mean, I think it was a mutually beneficial situation for both of them to part ways. You know, I'm assuming her label didn't want to keep putting more money into something that probably wasn't going to yield any results, and she was probably being creatively stifled. You know what I mean? So I don't think her being dropped had so much to do with her sort of, you know, her mouth always getting her in trouble. But regardless, I guess the point we were making, not to go into an Azealia Banks review or whatever, is about her statement, and what you were saying is that she's here defending hip hop as a black art form in music from you know, people that would you know, commandeer it and use it for evil, but meanwhile her music really doesn't have any kind of social political content, and that's sort of where we really started kind of spiraling out into like about content and what does it mean. And if you're gonna sort of say one thing and do another, that's kind of the hypocrisy. Like if I'm here saying about how music is missing content and all the songs I'm you know making are about shaking your ass and getting wasted and this and that, then I'm saying one thing and doing another. You know what I mean? And that's sort of I think where the conversation was going, in that you know, I've done those kind of tracks. You know, I think they're great. I enjoy them. Who doesn't? But I think as an artist, I need to think about and focus on what kind of legacy am I going to leave behind. You know, do I want to leave behind something that, you know, added a new language to the conversation of music, or am I just going to be repeating what everyone else has already done and said? You know, and as we were talking about, I sort of, you have to get into the machine before you can kind of shake it up. So I was definitely able to make some tracks that go over in that kind of vibe, and I think they're cool and they're fun and they're a little bit different, so they got a little bit of attention. But now I really want to do a project and have the next batch of music that I make have some kind of social political relevance, or at least have some kind of message. You know, where I feel like right now in the current times there's so much going on, you know, as far as, you know, the whole police brutality, you know, racial tensions, all these different issues that are not being reflected in our music or art. You know, you go on social media and people are in an uproar, but then 2 seconds later they're tweeting about Iggy Azalea or what's her name, Nicki Minaj's ass. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're that heated about, you know, these racial issues or police brutality or about whatever it is, then I would hope that you would, that would also reflect the content that you're supporting or you're immersing yourself in. You know what I mean? We were talking about that we grew up, in the '90s, and for me, listening to Fugazi or Rage Against the Machine or Public Enemy or any of these groups that have had a social political message that incited something in me. That made me go to rallies, to the Tibetan freedom concerts. When the Beastie Boys were heralding that movement. Music meant something to me. It was the way I identified myself, and it also gave me a perspective on issues and topics that maybe I didn't know about or maybe weren't filtering through to me. So in that case, musicians were kind of like reporters. You know what I mean? They were reporting about what was going on in the world, and then that way music fans would be able to learn and then go out and educate themselves. Now I feel like music is just completely low common denominator stuff that it doesn't really incite anyone to do anything more than to covet, material things. If they're singing about, Louis Vuitton and Ashton Martins or whatever, Mason Margiela, then people are gonna want those things. They're not gonna want to educate themselves. They're just gonna want to amass, material things. And I feel like that's where I would want to interject myself into the conversation, as to have something more to say, within the context of electronic dance music, which is something that I feel is absolutely, completely void of. There's nothing or no one really doing that, and those are the places that interest me to kind of plant roots and build things in places where other people aren't doing. I tend to always want to go left when everyone else is going right. I don't like kind of following suit with everyone else. I think that's been my whole music career, maybe my whole life. Every time everyone goes this way, I want to go the other way. I just have an aversion to blindly following, what everyone else is doing. I don't know.
All right, so let's take a listen to some of the stuff you're working on.
Yeah, sure.
And
I'll give you guys some exclusives, some behind the scenes. I know he was listening to some tracks when we were, kind of riding around. So I'm assuming by the time this comes out,
they might be done. So
cool. Well, let's see if I can put some previews now, and let's take a listen.
Awesome.
Koji, ambush them with the fire, MK place the nose. Pressure bullet higher, that if we get you, say fast, will you get touch up? Bamba na road boy, guard the barrier. Koji, ambush them with the fire, MK place the nose. Pressure bullet higher, that if we get you, say fast, will you get touch up?